A lot of founder-led businesses think they've got a productivity problem, and they haven't. What they've actually got is a dependency problem. Here's the thing. The founder's experience, that is one of the biggest assets a business has. But if all the decisions and standards and the way things get done only lives inside that person's head, then the only way to use any of it is to keep going back to her. And that's like again and again, which means it costs her time every single time. That's exactly what Emily Petroff was up against at Switch Society. I'm Michelle Jones Walker, and this is The Level Lens. Every month, I take one conversation from AI Power Women, and I pull out of it the business bit. What actually changed, which lever it moved, and what you can take from it and use for yourself. With Emily, the level lens is capacity. So Emily runs Switch Society, and it's a membership-based circular wardrobe, and it's a real operation with like more than 10,000 garments moving through it every single month. And she's getting ready to grow it nationally through franchising. But the tech behind all of that had grown up in bits and pieces. Nothing really talked to each other. And the team was basically the glue holding the gaps together between the systems they ran the business on and the ones the members actually touched. Anyway, Emily said these are her words, not mine, that her tech stack was just a nightmare. She said that she didn't have the budget to pay someone to build the custom system that she needed. So she used AI to build one herself, and one that actually fit the way Switch Society works instead of the other way round. And she told me that it helped her find thousands of dollars a month that had basically been quietly leaking out of her business. That money she was able to put back to work. Now, that obviously matters, but honestly, it's not the most interesting part. The interesting part is what changed about the business, about what the business depended on and who. Because there's a difference between efficiency and capacity. Efficiency is just how do we get this task done faster? Capacity, on the other hand, is a bigger question. It's what opens up when the business doesn't need the same person carrying the same work anymore. Emily wanted the system to pick up the operational stuff her team never basically should have been dealing with in the first place. And that freed the team up to focus on the actual human side, the clothes, the communities, the members. And it freed Emily up to spend time with potential franchisees on actually growing the thing. And the win here isn't just great, we save some time. It's what can we do with the time and the attention and the judgment once it's freed up. But the system was only half of it. The other half was everything Emily was carrying around in her head. She put it pretty bluntly herself. She said, founder dependency is the biggest freaking problem that we have. So she spent hours, and I'm talking like actual hours, talking to AI and walking it through how she looks after members, how she handles the tricky situations, how she makes the calls that she makes. And doing that, she started spotting patterns she'd never actually put into words before. And once they were in words, they could turn into documents and the processes and the stuff that the business can reuse without her in the room. And she's got a name for this. She calls it the conversation before creation. She doesn't just jump straight in and go, AI, write me a document. She starts with the question that comes before the document. Should this even exist? Why are we doing it, all of it? Why are we doing it at all? What are we missing? What do we need to decide first? Then AI asks the questions. She does the thinking, and nothing gets built until she's actually decided. The point was never to automate Emily. It's to take her judgment and make it available without needing her there every single time. She's also built these custom GTPs, and she uses them a bit like an advisory board. For the bigger decisions, she'll bring a few of them together and get like different angles on it. But, and this bit really matters, they don't decide anything. Like Emily says, she puts it like this: I get multiple points of view put through my own filter. That filter That's the line, that's the human bit. AI can hold up the context, push back on an assumption, show her a blind spot that she's missed. But Emily's still the one deciding what actually matters, what the business has to protect, and what happens next. So here's what I take from Emily's story. AI helped her cut down the founder dependency and build real capacity into the business, and not just capacity to churn out more. I mean, capacity to actually grow without every process and decision and like every bit of knowledge still hanging off her. And if you've been doing this a while, the opportunity isn't to hand your judgment over to AI, right? It's to stop leaving so much of it locked up inside you where the business can't get to it. So for the last 3 weeks, I've had this thing in my calendar, a weekly AI co-founder session, 9 a.m. on a Monday, built off the back of Emily's whole conversation before creation idea. And I'll be upfront and honest with you here. It is not comfortable. The questions pull more out of you than whatever answers you walked in with. And it kind of holds a mirror up to you of exactly, you know, of how you think. And I've started noticing patterns I keep repeating. The places where like I want to dodge the real decision and all the little ways I get in my own way. And that's been my experience with it anyway. It hasn't made a single decision for me. What it's done is actually, how can I put this, a lot harder. It makes it a lot harder to hide from hide from your own decisions. So here's the question I want to leave you with. What's the knowledge or decision or process that still depends on you when it doesn't really need to? What could you what could you and your business actually do if everything didn't depend on you? If you want the weekly AI co-founder session, it's in the library for the AI Power Women members, and you can read the full leather lens and watch my whole conversation with Emily over at AI Power Women. The link's on the screen and down in the description. I'm Michelle Jones Walker. I'll see you in the next leather lens.